Did you know? Every city hides its own secrets. Every face you pass might hold a story too strange to tell. Tonight, we're not talking about myths or legends. We're diving into 5 stories so eerie, so cinematic, that they could have come straight out of a movie, except they might just be real. The rain was relentless that night, washing the city streets clean. A woman, let's call her Clara, stood under a flickering street lamp, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. Across the street, in the warm glow of a cafe, her husband sat laughing with another woman. They looked so comfortable, so familiar. It was a scene straight out of a romance film, only Clara was the villain in her own story. She had followed him, a gnawing suspicion turning her world upside down. Now, watching them, she realized this wasn't just a fling. This was a betrayal that had been growing in the shadows for years. Every shared look, every inside joke she wasn't part of, it all clicked into place. She raised her phone, the screen illuminating her tear-streaked face. With a shaking finger, she took a single photo. The flash was a silent scream in the night. Her husband looked up, his smile vanishing as he saw her. In that one moment, their entire life together shattered like glass. Years ago, 2 best friends, Leo and Mark, made a pact. They were young, ambitious, and ready to conquer the world of tech with their revolutionary app. They promised to be partners, 50-50ths no matter what. Leo was the dreamer, the visionary. Mark was the pragmatist, the coder who brought the dreams to life. Their app exploded. Success was intoxicating, a whirlwind of money, fame, and opportunity. One morning, Leo woke up to find himself locked out of their company accounts. His access was denied. His emails bounced. He raced to the office, a place built on his ideas, only to be stopped by security. Mark appeared at the glass doors, not with an explanation, but with a cold, distant stare. He had legally pushed Leo out, using a loophole in the contract they'd signed on a napkin years ago. As Leo stood on the pavement, watching the company name gleam in the sun, he knew he wasn't just betrayed by a business partner, he was betrayed by his brother. She met him in a library. He was charming, intelligent, and his eyes held a universe of stories. He told her he was a writer, a traveler who had seen the world but was searching for a place to call home. She fell for him, hard and fast. He moved into her apartment, filling it with his laughter, his books, and his promises of a future together. He spoke of his wealthy family in Europe, of an inheritance that was tied up in legal battles, of a life of ease that was just around the corner. She believed him. She gave him her savings to help with his legal fees, emptied her accounts to support his investments. One Tuesday, she came home from work to find the apartment empty. His books were gone, his clothes were gone. Every photo of them had been deleted from her devices. It was as if he had never existed. The police later told her he was a professional con artist, a ghost who drifted from one life to the next, leaving a trail of broken hearts and empty bank accounts. The man she loved was never real. He was just a character he played, and she was just his latest audience. The old detective sat in his dimly lit office, a single case file open on his desk. It was the one that haunted him, the one that got away. 20 years ago, a notorious art thief known only as the Ghost had stolen a priceless diamond from the city museum. There were no witnesses, no fingerprints, no clues. The thief vanished without a trace. The detective dedicated his life to the case, but it went cold, eventually forcing him into retirement with his greatest failure unsolved. One rainy afternoon, his estranged son came to visit. They hadn't spoken in years, a gulf of unspoken resentment between them. As they sat in awkward silence, his son noticed the old case file. He picked it up, a faint, knowing smile playing on his lips. "You know, Dad," he said softly, "you always looked for a professional, a master criminal." He then described, in perfect detail, every security flaw in the museum from that night. The exact timing of the guard rotations, the precise way the diamond could have been taken. The detective stared at his son, the pieces of the puzzle falling into place with a sickening thud. The thief wasn't a stranger, he had been living under his own roof. A young musician poured her soul into her music. Her songs were raw, honest, and filled with a pain she couldn't speak aloud. She played in small, smoky bars, hoping someone would hear the truth in her lyrics. One night, a famous record producer was in the audience. He saw her talent, her fire. He promised her everything: a record deal, a tour, a life she had only dreamed of. She signed the contract without reading the fine print, blinded by the bright lights of fame. Her first album was a massive success. But the songs weren't hers anymore. The producer had twisted her melodies, changed her lyrics, and polished her raw emotion into a glossy, commercial product. He owned her music, her image, her very identity. She was a star, but she was a prisoner in a golden cage, forced to sing empty words to sold-out arenas. One night, in the middle of a concert, she stopped singing. The stadium fell silent. In that silence, she picked up her guitar and played the song that started it all the way it was meant to be heard. It was an act of rebellion, a final, desperate attempt to reclaim her own voice, even if it meant losing everything.